Hey, Cardinals fans, welcome to another prospect edition of Birds on a Blue Note, joined by our prospect guys here, RJ, and we got Zach as well joining us again. Hey, boys.
How are you?
So,
So, today, in order to keep things a little more succinct, and for those of you that maybe are new to, the prospect following, we're going to start from the lower A, work our way up to triple A, and really cover the guys that we think you should be focusing on and, getting to know better. So, for those that aren't familiar, we have two rookie affiliates. We have one in the Dominican League, and then we also have one in the Florida League as well. A lot of the rookies start off there before they get up to the lower A ball and single A. And so I believe, Zach, you had a couple of guys over in the FCL Rookie League you wanted to cover, right?
No, absolutely. So the first one is going to definitely be Travis Honeyman. So I heard nothing but good things coming out of him from Boston College. I know there's a cool video of him testing out some bats on YouTube if you guys kind of want to get a good idea of what his swing is or how much pop he's really got. The dude is absolutely smoking balls. That's when I got really excited for him over the offseason. And he's done nothing but hit since he's gotten started. His rookie league starts a little bit late, so it's been 16 games, but he's got four doubles, almost a 1200 OPS, and a 412 batting average. Uh,
yeah,
he's a
412.
yeah, really strong guy. That's the big thing to notice about him. He's a freaking athlete. So that's a guy that's really fun. And the other one's Jonathan Mejia. Uh, we've had him down there for a couple of years now, but he's at 304, 823 OPS. Still just three home runs, and just I think four doubles. So not as much power numbers as you'd want to see, but still overall is really good as well. So, but Travis Honeyman, I could see him skyrocketing through because he was I think a 4 year college guy. So I think he's 22, but I'll have to double check that real quick for you.
Yeah, no, that's right. That's something I wanted to touch on too, is when he brought him because he already is 22. So like this is someone that can be a fast riser, especially if he continues. He's slugging over 600 in just 6 games, but like you said, and he's got good eye, over 22% walk rate currently.
No,
I mean, got the
absolutely.
tools.
To start off in Jupiter with our Palm Beach Cardinals in single A. So who do you guys, you know, really think we should spotlight out there?
Well, yeah, I wanted to touch on Darlin Saladin, who's he's got a really good piece by Viva Albertos. Kareem wrote about him a while back, a few months ago. The kid signed out of the Dominican, 16 years old, and 5 years ago, 2019. But he's just been lighting the world on fire down there. For the month of May, he was actually our pitcher of the month for the whole organization. He went 1-0 in the month of May with a .69 ERA, nice. .81 WHIP, 37 strikeouts and 5 starts. He only allowed one extra base hit for the entire month. Um, he's had one June start so far, 7 innings, 2 earned runs, so his ERA went up. Oh gosh. I mean, like it's been incredible. He's got like insane vertical break right on his fastball, which is elite. 6 feet of extension when he throws the ball. I mean, he's just dicing everyone up. It's crazy. He's got 18 inches of ride on a fastball, which is just absolutely ridiculous. Good luck, right? So
Yeah.
he doesn't have the. He's still on the smaller side. He's only 21 and he's only about 170, 180. So there's like he could get a little bit bigger, maybe add a tick or two on that fastball, but when it breaks that much, I mean, good, yeah, it's almost impossible to hit. Clearly by the numbers, no one's hitting them. So that's who I want to start off with. So down in low A, expect him to be a fast riser through our prospects. Um, Impressive stuff. I mean, super impressive. I mean, he beat out Tink Hence for a pitcher of the month, which is not easy to do with the way Tink's been thrown.
No, not at all.
Yeah, the big guy I want to focus on is Zach Showalter. That dude is absolutely dominating. So he's got 1.09 ERA, 41 Ks, 24 innings. I mean, absolute steal we got from the Orioles. Trent Jack over there. We got Prieto as well, kind of going off in AAA. But he's not overpowering. I know he's got a really good slider, but it's really just the arm angle with him over there. The other guy to point out is Chase Davis. Terrible, absolutely terrible. His 6.602 OPS and a 189 batting average. I mean, I guess he's went deep more than 0 times this year, so I guess that's
It's
better than
better than
last year.
Carlson, right? So I mean,
Yeah, I guess so, dude. But those are the 2 big ones that are down there. Really, most of our low A guys are kind of moved up to high A, along with Quinn Matthews and all those guys. So
yeah, I'm glad he jumped on the grenade there too with Chase Davis, because this is a guy I've been pretty big on since we drafted him, and the tools are all still there. There's just way too much swing and miss. I mean, almost 50% of the time he swings, he misses. It's I don't know. It's got to be worked on, and he's still super young too, so he can't fix that. That's something that is he's trying to work on, because there was a little stretch there about 2 weeks ago where he was hitting the ball more consistently. And then you see the numbers when he doesn't make contact. He hits it like 104, 105, 106 off the bat, and the raw talent is there. It's just the swing and miss is what's killing him right now. And he has no patience at the plate. He won't walk. He swings at everything. He's a free swinger. He's like a left-handed power hitting Javier Baez right now. So
that was the thing, at least last year, that was a little bit better. Last year he had 34 strikeouts and 25 walks. This year he has 56 strikeouts and 20 walks. Same level. I mean, it's just worse. And last year we were talking about how bad he was. So already talking about it as a disappointment, and it just got worse.
yeah, he's still so young though. I mean, I don't want to give up on him in like year 2 in the minors, because he was a bit of a reach. He was kind of like the idea of drafting Chase Davis so high was kind of similar to what Randy Flores did with Jordan Walker a few years back. You're like, I'm just going to draft the one with the highest raw talent, and hopefully it works out and he can figure it out and he can hit and he can consistently make contact. And that's kind of what we're waiting on, right? Like just hoping that he needs to be a little more disciplined, I think, is the big thing for him, because he's not, if you can take the strikeouts if you're swinging at pitches that you can hit. Well, he's swinging at pitches out of the zone too often is the problem. So like, it's similar to like what the change I guess Gorman has made in the last couple weeks in the majors. If you watch him, even when he strikes out, he's striking on pitches he knows he can hit. But where earlier in the season he's swinging at garbage, and you're like, "What are you doing, dude?" Like so, and you can live with that a little bit more, because then the power will come. You get a little more selective. You hit more home runs. It's patience.
Absolutely. And Chinwei Lin is another guy I want to highlight. I mean, dude's absolutely humongous. I think he's like 6'6", 6'7", but he's only 188. So hopefully he puts on a few extra pounds so he could maybe last half a season. But dude's pretty dominant this year. He has 47 strikeouts, 53 innings. But I know the fastball jumped up a few miles an hour. He's just been really, really solid down there. Not a whole lot of walks either. So that's something that I really like a lot too.
Yeah, with him it's the stuff. He hits 100. So I mean that plays, right? So we've seen that in the past with the Cardinals too, with guys like Jordan Walker, who are in single A when they called him up because they had such elite stuff that they fast tracked him to the majors. And I don't expect that from Lynn right away, but the stuff's already there. It's just more or less working on the command and extending out, I guess.
Right.
Speaking of people in the high A that need to pitch more, I guess specifically more innings and higher pitch counts, is Cooper Herpy, who I know you're big on also.
Absolutely. Yeah, dude's slider is absolutely nasty. I've been watching a bunch of stuff on Twitter, little gifs and stuff of him. 56 strikeouts in 37 innings. It's just absolutely just filth. But I know he had, what was it, 4 no-hit innings at his last start? And they took him out.
67 pitches, and they yanked him. And like his last 5 starts, he's gone 4 innings, 4 innings, 4 innings, 4 innings, and 4 innings. That's the big discourse right now, is they don't really even have like a plan to extend them out beyond that. It makes sense sometimes when you're like coming off injury or you're trying to build up, but like if you're going to be that strict and he's that dominant every time, he's got a 35% K rate. So like 1 out of every 3 batters that steps in the box against him strikes out, which is just absurd. So like, and he's sitting there in high A, and they won't pitch him more than 4 innings, and they won't let him pitch more than 65 innings.
Right. The big thing with him is just getting those walks down as well. I mean, he's had at least 3 walks, I think, 4 times in 10 starts. So I mean, that's the only big thing with him, but still absolutely dominating.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's lefty too, and he's got that weird, almost kind of sidearm funky arm angle too, which is tough to read. So
right, it's weird. It's like not Chris Sale, it's not Ray Johnson, but it is like it's funky.
Yep. Which leads obviously to all the strikeouts. I mean, fastball, slider, changeup, cutter combo. Like you said, the slider's elite. You would like to see the changeup a little bit more, because you need to almost have two really good off speeds to be successful in the higher levels. Because fastballs just get crushed down there. So,
I mean,
but
can you imagine
yeah,
being high A though and having Quinn Matthews though and Cooper Herbie maybe
yeah,
once one series?
back to back
Yeah,
night.
that's
At least you don't have to worry about Cooper Herbie for 4 innings though. For some reason, it's
right. Yeah,
that's the
Zach
thing,
Showalter
right?
will throw 156 pitches if he has to.
Yeah, Quinn Matthews will pitch 12 innings and Cooper Herbie will pitch 4.
Right, exactly.
Have they made any announcement on when they plan on? I mean, I know Quinn just got called up from low A, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's had like I think 2 starts there now.
Yeah.
four starts.
4 starts.
Wow, it was that long ago? Jeez.
Yeah, he has almost as many innings now in high as he did low A. So it's 25 innings to 30 innings. So
Well,
I
good
mean,
for
he's been
him.
our quickest riser in the system though by far. Um, it's super impressive. I know Zach and I both wanted to talk about him, but yeah, he's promoted to high A. On the season, he's at 3.24 ERA. His FIP's a little bit lower, 2.51 with a 2.75 expected FIP. So his numbers should go back down a little bit based on expected results. 25 innings, 11.5 K per nine, 0.36 home runs per nine, which is incredible, especially down there. He's not giving up the long ball at all. He pitches 6-7 innings every start, 6 innings, 6 innings, 6 innings, 7 innings. What really like boosted his number, like he had 5 earned runs in his first start in high A, which put his ERA of the season over 3. Otherwise, he'd be like down in the lower 2s still. I'll let you touch on his stuff more though. I know you're a big fan of him.
yeah, the dude went from throwing about like 93 on average, 97 in just a year. So just another testament to they're just doing work in the offseason to get stronger and just learning their mechanics. But the big thing with him is that sweeper slider that pours in on the righties, that changeup is absolutely nasty. The way he hides the ball, he's really funky looking and he's really tall. He's like nothing about the way he kind of comes at you looks like it's really smooth and probably comfortable, especially for a lefty. But the dude's super nasty. I think right here, he had 84 strikeouts in 55 innings. So we have a lot of the good stuff as far as the pitchers this year in the minor leagues at 0.77 whip as well. So he's just been absolutely nasty.
Yeah, that's what I noticed too. And I was doing my research before we were filming this. I was like, man, there's a lot of cool pitchers to talk about, but the hitters, like I'm like, oh man,
Right.
Josh Pye's not great. Joe is not. But yeah, to touch on Matthews again a little bit more, like you're talking about, like he's got the nasty slider, and the fastball is like hitting like 96, 97 hours before his 93, 94. So he's figured something out, and we already knew he's a bulldog. This is a guy that pitched 140, 150 pitches when he's in Stanford. Just absurd. This is the guy that's always going to go deep, no matter what. Like he hasn't been really lit up once, but he had the 5 earned runs and still went 6 innings. So like,
Right.
it's crazy.
That
And he
curveball
mixes
is
in the curveball. Yeah, he mixes in the curveball too, which is
it's it's flat and falls off the table. That's what I really love about it. But they say his best off speed pitches has changed too, which is just absolutely awesome. I mean, he's the perfect prototypical left-handed pitcher who could be a number 2, number 1 type pitcher. Just front your rotation. He's big, he's strong, he's willing to pitch, he strikes guys out. He's a bulldog. So
yeah, he's got a little bit of that Lance Lynn in him. So for the comparison sakes, for people who don't know
right.
the minors as well. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him grow some more. He's going to be a very fast riser. I think him and specifically, I don't know what the Cardinals' plan is with Cooper Herpy. I would say he is too because he strikes everyone out, but they haven't really extended his pitch limit at all or his inning limit. So
Well, they did that with Tink and they brought him up too. So
I'd like, yeah, they did, but with Cooper specifically, it's 4 innings every time, which I don't know. But yeah, him and Saladin is specifically looking at just super impressive down there. Hopefully they'll both be in Double A by the end of the season, but we'll see.
Yeah. Anybody else you guys want to highlight in high A over in Peoria at all?
I think you were wanting to touch on Bernal, right?
Nope, that's you. That's all you, man.
Oh, Bernal, absolutely. Then yeah, Bernal's been swinging a lot more of a hot bag here of late. I think he's at the 273. Yeah, 5 home runs, 29 RBIs. I heard he was a pretty good defensive catcher as well. He's a pretty decent arm, but he's a big right-handed bat. I know he went deep twice the other day. It's just a lot of the good things that you want to see from a future catcher, and you should cut all that out because that is terrible. So thank you. 1 second.
Next, we're going to move on to our AA affiliate based out of Springfield, who Zach has the pleasure of getting to see pretty often. Our Springfield Cardinals wearing their hat today. They are in the Texas League, and things get a little fun once you make the jump up to AA, don't they, boys?
Yes,
Yeah, the
sir.
ball flies.
Oh, yeah, it sure does.
Yeah, so if you pitch well down there, that's really a testament how good of a prospect he could be. Um, I'll let Zach take Tink Kent's last this time because I think I talked about him more last time, but I kind of wanted to really touch on Ian Bedell down there. On the season, his ERA is not great. He's at a 5.13, but I want to highlight his last 3 starts specifically. 24.1 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, 36 strikeouts. He's got a 1.11 ERA in his last 3 starts. His slider is elite. It just falls off the table and has insane vertical break. Fastball sits 93 to 95. This is he's figured something out in the last month, and his slider usages went up and his fastball usages went down. I guess it's just more trust in his off speed pitch. Hence the 36 strikeouts. You know, across 3 starts, that's 12 strikeouts a game, which is crazy. So hopefully he keeps that up.
I mean, clearly they highlighted something in his mechanics that they felt that he could be taking advantage of that breaking ball more if those splits have made that drastic.
Yeah, and only 3
Change.
walks too in those 3 starts in his last 3 games, which is crazy. So you're looking at what 12 to 1 strikeout to walk ratio. It's
So the control is clearly there right
Yep.
now. Beautiful.
I'm sure you've seen him pitch, Zach. You've seen
Yeah,
Bedell?
I've seen Bedell twice. There, both times I saw him. I think the first game I went to this year, he gave up like 6 runs or something like that. So nothing really that much to write home about that I saw. But then again, like I said, he's turned it on a whole lot this last month. I just haven't had a chance to go out there and see him.
It's hard to give up 3 runs over 24 innings and your ERA still be in the 5s. He had a really rough start, but like most major leaguers and the Cardinals, he's turning it around, hopefully.
Good. That's good to hear. So Zach, you want to cover some Tink news?
Yeah, absolutely. So cramps. I mean, I think that was a big sigh of relief for every Cardinal fan across the nation. But the dude's been absolutely lighting it up. I know he's had 2 blow-up starts where he go, I think 6 runs and 4 runs separately, but at 3.19 ERA despite all that, and 71 Ks, 51 innings, the dude's turned into a bulldog. And the big thing that I've seen from him is the strut walking off the mound. He looks like he's wanting to go deeper into games, but they just keep him on a short leash, which is probably smart, especially with his size right now. But I know he went 7 innings for the first time here. But what was that? I guess it's been about 2 months ago. But he had 10 strikeout game then and a 13 strikeout game about 3-4 weeks ago as well. So the dude's been absolutely dominating.
Yeah, and talk about his home runs per 9 too. He's keeping the ball in the yard, even when he has the blow up starts. Only 0.67 home runs per 9. Like pitching in AA it's tough to do because the ball just flies there, like we mentioned earlier.
Yeah, he's only got 4 home runs all year.
Yeah, 32% K rate. So almost kind of similar to Sally or Cooper Herbert earlier. Almost 1/3 of the people who step into the box strike out against him. It's I don't know. There's a reason he's our number 1 prospect, and he's the guy that we think may be our future ace. Let's get things from him. Yeah, cramps. We were all kind of crossing our fingers, hoping he was okay there. So I'm glad.
And ultimately too, when you're at that AA level, like the defense is not the same as it is in the major league. So a guy like Tink who, does strike out people, but also thrives on getting them to like hit the ball into outs, isn't getting, per se the same kind of defensive backup as he would be getting when he's going to be even in AAA, let alone the majors and whatnot. So yeah, the fact that he's keeping the ball in the yard in the Texas League, as you mentioned before, like ball loves to fly at that level. And
yeah, lots of soft, weak contact against him, like as you said, because he's got that fastball slider changeup combo that's really working well. His fastball slider both, I believe, are elite already, and his changeup is kind of on the way as his 3rd pitch. 1.1 whip, he's got all the makings of like future ace. So hopefully it works out, because we've had some rough luck, knock on wood, with our top pitching prospects lately. So please let this one work out.
Yeah. He's electric and he's fun. It's the biggest thing. Like he works quick. He just he's fun to watch. It's like I don't want to compare him to Pedro because it's not really like that, but just the hop and step that he has whenever he's going back to the mound. I just love the swag that he's got.
You know,
He really
you said that too, and I'm glad he brought that up because I thought the same thing as Tim Lincecum almost. Because like Tim Lincecum's
right.
a not very big guy, kind of like Tim Kids. You just kind of you watch him and he's fun to watch. You know, just watching him pitch is enjoyable. Like I don't know. Yeah, he's got the electric stuff. He's got the makeup. They're pushing his innings. They're pushing his pitch count a little bit more. He's been going 6 pretty consistently innings. You'd like to see maybe 7, 8 one of these times soon, but I mean, there's not really any other knocks on him.
Right. If I could, I'd like to go to Takeo Roby and just take that one on the chest. I think I told everybody they possibly could. Takeo Roby's going to break out this year. The dude's going to have 10 home runs in 7 starts. I mean, it's been pretty bad. The strikeouts haven't even really been there to balance it out. I went to a couple of his starts, and both times I was like trying as hard as I could to find things to be excited about. I mean, the curve he's never spotting the curve. The fastball, I saw him throw like a 48-foot fastball. I mean, like literally, it's just right now it just looks like his confidence is off. The last couple of starts I've seen from him in person, or he's just long. I mean, taking the entire pitch clock in between pitches every single time. He's not working quick. He just doesn't really have it right now. Thankfully, he does have a pretty good curveball whenever he can actually spot it. And we could just hope that he kind of just figures something out and turns the page. Double A is the league where guys do start getting hit a whole lot more. And I saw a lefty hit a ball 470 off of him to left center field. I mean, he's getting tattooed. So you just got to hope for more, I guess, with him.
Yeah, that's far. If it makes you feel any better, I said Chase Davis is going to break out this year, and he's been terrible too. So,
right,
it's all right. We can both be wrong. I mean, like with Takeo Roby though, that's the thing with him, and we talked about this with Kyle like 2 months ago. Is his fastball when he relies too heavily on the fastball. When he can't locate it and he can't locate the curve, he's really in trouble. So guys can just sit on it, and then that's when he gets crushed. So you need like. You almost need to have 2 good off speed to be successful once you reach this point. You can't just rely on fastball curve.
Yeah, you can't just rely on having really dominating stuff just to overpower guys. You see some guys get away with control issues in the lower minors where you could have a high fastball and be 6 inches above the zone. Some guys are going to chase it. Just that doesn't happen in Double A. The hitters start getting really professional there. That's when you start getting the guys who stuck around 8 or 9 years of the career minor leaguers. They're just smarter hitters.
Yeah, been there, done that, right? So hopefully he figures something out. Like I said, he's got the good curveball. I don't know how much he throws the sweeper slider. Is that even effective at all, or you would know better than me?
Yeah, like I said, it's just not getting spotted. And the big thing I saw with the sweeper slider is there was one time I sat right behind the plate, and there were several times where it was just so flat. The curveball is pretty consistently about getting really good movement on it, but he just doesn't seem like he has very good feel on it. Yeah. A lot of hangers, exactly. A lot of balls popping out of his hands as well. So
yeah,
when you're not spotting that much,
really young, still really young. Like, and these things can turn around really fast too. I mean, look at Quinn Matthews or Ian Bedell, who was terrible the first part of the season, who's been fantastic last year. Sometimes you just one mechanical change and
100%. Like it's a lot of times just overthinking, especially whenever his best pitch is the curve. In my opinion, if you're overthinking throwing the curve, you're trying to spot it. You know you have control issues. It doesn't go well for you at all. That's really a pitch you got to commit to, and it's a touch and feel pitch. So you got to just hope that he kind of regains what he had at the end of the year last year. Because I saw him a couple of times last year, and I was like, "Holy crap, this guy's awesome!" So the ball just doesn't look the same out of his hands. So.
Yeah, it sounds like a confidence thing from what you're saying. Like you said, the curveball is a very field pitch, and if you don't feel it and you don't trust it, then you're probably not going to be able to throw it successfully.
And again, right. These are developmental leagues. People have to remember that these are prospects. These are developmental leagues for a reason. Like you want your prospects to fail to a certain extent, so like you can find those weaknesses and have them try to tweak stuff before they come up and face major league competition, which will just eat up every weakness you have if you don't know how to adjust and whatnot. So, I mean, this is where the real men are made. Let's put it this way. You either adjust or you fail. and you stay that career minor leaguer, or you just get DFA'd and dropped completely and whatnot if you're not. So,
Well, I mean, Jordan Walker's a good example of that, where he's in AAA, but he's really down there treating like spring training, where he's really just working on one or two specific things to get better at.
Launch angle. Yeah.
yeah.
Launching.
Let's move on over to Memphis, Tennessee, internationally with our Memphis Redbirds, our AAA affiliate. Now, these are obviously the guys that are closest to the show. So get ready to hopefully see these guys within the next year or 2 or 3, obviously, for those that are, straggling along and whatnot.
Yeah, I'll let you start us off, Zach. I think I started the last couple, so.
Absolutely. I'll start with Jordan Walker. So I think that's probably where every Cardinal fan is probably thinking first when they think AAA. But he's at 261. His OPS is still actually at 687. I mean, 1 home run, 11 RBIs, 4 doubles, or 9 doubles and 4 triples. It just hasn't really looked the same off of him. I will say, whenever I do see the highlights of him hitting, the ball is still jumping off his bat whenever he hits the ball into the gap, but it just seems like it's few and far between. There's still a lot of 103-mile-an-hour exit velos, right third baseman, or hoping it squeezes through the hole, and that's still not anything that we're trying to see. But I do know he's hit like 3 balls off the wall that were those doubles of the 9, so he could, just like the Cardinals this last weekend, easily have a few more homers mixed in there. But this is a dude that's supposed to have light tower power. I mean, we were thinking, even if he was just a great hitter, which I think a lot of us had a debate about, like, is he going to be a power hitter? Is he going to be a great hitter that just has some power? And I think he's kind of fallen in this in-between thing, kind of like a Colby Rasmus in a way kind of did, where it's like he had some really great minor league stats. You knew he could be a really good pure hitter, and then he goes to try to be a power hitter, and he just kind of unwinds everything. So the bad part about hitting is you can never really go back. It's not like you just say, well, start doing what you were doing before. It's like if you have those brain clicks where you just start falling into bad habits, it's not just as easy. It's like, all right, let me just stop doing that now. I'm just going to go back to staying through the ball, clean swing. So I hope, and I think everybody else hopes, that he kind of turns it around. I have all the hope in the world because I know he's talented, and I've heard so much about his work ethic. But I saw him a bunch in Double-A. It's not the same hitter at all. The same follow through. It doesn't really seem the same. It just doesn't feel impactful whenever he's hitting.
Yeah, you have to wonder what's going on with his development and what's actually being whispered in his ears down there, right? Because, like, I mean, he always had the high, like, he had the super high exit velo the whole time, and he always didn't really have the launch angle, but, like, it's gotten worse when we're working on it to get better, right? So, like, I don't know. He's still hitting the ball really hard. He's just beating into the ground over and over again. And he did hit a home run, I think, last week, so that's good because it took a while. But yeah, he's still only 22 is the thing. So, like, he's got plenty of time to work this stuff out still. It just, you hope he hasn't like gone so far in the wrong direction that he has to spend more time catching up now.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
at the end of the day, I think he should have still been in AAA right now, or just coming up now, really, my opinion anyways. I think everybody, kind of including myself, got really excited and kind of clamored for him a little bit. But the dude really just, if we were going to make the mistake of saying, all right, let's turn you into more power hitter, let's work on launch angle, we kind of set him up for failure to do it in front of 40,000 people, with the pressure being, I think he was the #1 prospect even there for about a month last year. And they change everything. Like, go play a new position. It's like, okay. I mean, the kid's 20 years old, so we could have done him a few favors by doing AAA and kind of work on those things first. Hindsight's always 20/20, but I think I wouldn't be mad if he spent the whole year in AAA if he just comes back up and he's
well, I wouldn't
85,
either.
90
The way Alec Burleson's hitting right now, right? So, like,
right, absolutely.
That's the thing, though. Like, it's not just us. Like, you look at the Orioles; they did the same thing with Jackson Holiday earlier this year. Hitting the majors is really, really hard. This was a consensus #1 guy earlier this year, and he came up and he floundered miserably, and he was significantly worse than Jordan Walker was this year for us. And they still have all the hope in the world that he'll turn out and be like this mega stud star player for him. So, like, that's the thing. He's still so young, and like, he can't figure it out. And you did talk about his work ethic, and like, hitting the ball hard is not an issue for him at all. Even if
he's turned into a great right fielder, like, that speaks to his work ethic. I mean, he's out there. The dude wants to be good, better than he's been, probably more than any Cardinal fan in the entire country. I promise. So
Yeah, even if he doesn't turn into like the hit lofting the ball like we want him to, like if he just turns into more of like a line drive hitter, like Mason Wynn is currently is like one of the 5 best line drive hitters in baseball. He's not hitting many home runs, but he's hitting in the gaps and he's making good consistent contact and hitting over the infielders. See, that's the thing. Like it's cool if you hit it 105, 106, but if you hit it right at the third baseman or the shortstop every time, that does no good. So it's
100%. And he's big enough where he can hit line drives and still accidentally hit 20 home runs in a year.
Yep. He's strong enough to do that. Yeah, for sure. Someone that is hitting well in AAA, because we haven't talked about too many good hitting prospects this video, actually none so far, I think. But Lucan Baker, who's been kind of lightening up down in AAA. Right now, he's got a slash line of 236, average is a little low, but whatever. 353, 555. He's got a 908 OPS, 126 WRC plus. He's got 16 home runs right now, which is tied for second in all of AAA. 44 RBIs. He's been smashing the ball lately. And like first base is like a position of concern for us in the future. That can go a few different directions after the season ends, but assuming we don't sign anyone, this is a guy that will probably be in the running for first baseman next year for the Cards in the majors.
Nick Kurtz has anything to say about that?
We'll see. Yeah, like it depends on the draft and like the free agency. Because I personally want us to try to sign Pete Alonso too, just for the stability. But like, for him, he can't do anything more than what he's doing currently. If you're first baseman specifically, especially in the higher levels of the minor leagues, you have to hit for power. You have to, right? Because that's what's going to get you called up, and that's what he's doing. So,
absolutely, he didn't really get that big of a run last year. I don't think he got nearly enough time. You saw with Mason Wynn last year too. He comes up, and everything I heard was how Mason Wynn was going to be a bust. There's a lot of fans out there, but I heard so much negativity surrounding Wynn, and now it's nothing but love. So I could absolutely see him coming up and being impactful, but I just haven't really seen a whole lot of him, even in person. I saw him hit a couple bombs. He's such a big guy that he doesn't scream like athlete to you or baseball player, and those were usually the guys who you could easily recognize.
Yeah,
but
thick.
yeah, he's 270 or 280.
He's a thick guy. But yeah, I mean, like you're a first baseman, so you don't have to be the most uber athletic person in the field anyway. Just catch the ball, right? As long as you can scoop it over there. But yeah, I think he's already like 27, 28. I had to double check. So he's been in the minors for a bit, kind of stewing down there. But I mean, when you're like close to the league lead in like OPS, home runs, RBIs, like, I mean, what more can you ask, right? So
he was last year before I brought him up for a minute too, as well. If I remember correctly, I think he was absolutely smashing last year before we called him up.
Yeah, he got like his cup of tea too, and that's something I actually want, because Mason Wynn, like you mentioned, is like perfect example. He came up, he got his cup of tea, failed miserably, which is fine, but then he knew all off season and like all spring training what he had to work on, and that's what he did. And he came back, and now he's successful. And like obviously, not everyone's going to be able to do that, because like we said, hitting in the majors is tough. But it's good to have that information, right? Like it's good to know what to expect once you get here, so you can work on it. So, and like you can't teach that kind of power either. So.
Another dude to touch on is Cesar Prieto. I think if we get another second baseman down, there's a good chance we might end up seeing him. The dude's such a good pure hitter. He's one of those guys where I don't expect this much out of him, but he's so smooth. He's like Luis Ariz, but like type hitter with a little bit more pop that he's shown this year. Yeah, a little bit more pop, but 834 OPS is 9 home runs, 13 doubles, 299 average. 880. That's what I meant to say. 884.
That's what I had. Unless I wrote it down wrong.
Yeah, he's 834.
That's my bad. Keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. But just a pure hitter. I know his average dropped a little bit. He was hitting close to like 340 for a while. He's kind of came back to earth a little bit, but this is one of those types of guys like a Brendan Donovan, just that come up and just continue just to hit and hit and hit and hit and hit. So I don't know how the heck we managed to pull off that trade from the Orioles, because I never even really heard of his Prieto that much before then. I even stalked their farm system before that, but he's really surprised me, and I'd like to see him get a chance before the end of the year. He's done pretty much everything you can to deserve that at this point.
Yeah, I mean, like we've got to be the most loaded team in baseball at second base, right? So,
right.
Gorman and Donovan and Edman when he comes back, and then we got Prado and Sajaci. It's crazy. And Prato's been better than JC this year. That's the guy we were all excited about coming into the season. But
Oh, yeah. So JC's been pretty bad. I mean, all things considered.
I mean, he was so phenomenal last year, though, and he was so phenomenal the year before that you think he could probably turn it around. It's still early in the season for them, too. So,
Right. And AAA is not really one of those leagues where you see like a huge jump where you just think he's just can't figure it out anymore. Usually the guys who can hit AA don't tend to just fall off a cliff in AAA either. And after Peoria, the big dude I want to talk about as well is Victor Scott and how much he just made me sad. So I was there the whole year in AA last year, and I was just screaming his name. I promise, guys, from what I saw, he was a good defensive center fielder. I don't know what's happened. It's not my eyes. I'm an advanced scout, obviously. I'm kidding, obviously, but the dude's been pretty bad in center field, I think, to say the least. Wrong first steps, bad judgment calls, but he has the speed to make up for it. So you kind of just hope that he can kind of make up some of those mistakes, because even with as fast as he is, he can be a fourth outfielder on a team if he could just come in, pitch, run for you, and play some good defensive center field like Michael Ciani does. But you got to hit more than 203 to be able to do that as well.
right, he's like Billy Hamilton right now in the minors, right? Like had over 100 steals, just can't get on base. So that's
100%. And I said earlier, like typically you don't see that happen from AA to AAA. Usually it's from single A to AA. You'll see the guys fall off a cliff. We have a couple here with Sagasi and Victor Scott that just. And Sagasi actually hit really well in AAA last year, which is kind of the weird part about that. But Victor Scott just absolutely just fell off a cliff. I mean, I don't know if it's a confidence thing with him. He looks like he's got swagger. All the highlights I see of him, he's still hopping around. He still seems like he's got it. But he only has 16 stolen bases down there, and I think that's really more of a testament to him not getting on base at all, more than it is absolutely anything. So I think even only 2 with us as well, and I know that was absolutely the problem. It wasn't a lack of trying to run. It's when you're only on base once every 3 games, then you don't really get that many chances to steal a bag.
Yeah.
But
yeah, like you said with Scott, though, he's still got the elite defense and elite speed. So like the very worst case scenario, he's like a backup outfielder, like I mentioned, like a Billy Hamilton type who, like everyone was super excited when he came up, right? Because he stole so many bases but he couldn't hit. So like he was like a late game defensive sub type, like Ciani was supposed to be, but now he's like our starter. but yeah, I mean, just learn to hit a little bit. Just hit the ball. No, it's easy right now. But
the big thing that I see with him though, it's like he doesn't use that athleticism in the box at all. Like he feels like stiff whenever he's hitting, and he's always been that way. And I know he's hit well before, but with a dude who's that athletic, he's not using any of that athleticism when he's in the box. Not with his swing, not with any of it. He just looks really stiff up there. So I don't know if that's by design. I know that he used to have a leg kick, I think, in college, and he struck out quite a bit. I think he took that away to try to just get on base more, but that's not really working now either. So I like to see something change.
Yeah. That's tough because he was never really supposed to be the best hitter anyway. He's supposed to be a good enough hitter with the plus speed and the plus defense, right? And that's what we were so excited about. We were like, because like as Cards fans, we've been like that in the past with like Harrison Bader, who actually was an above average hitter, but people didn't think he was that great a hitter because we had a bunch of other really good hitters around him. But like, yeah, if he could just get on base at like even like a 310, which is pretty close to Tommy Edmonds' career, like on base percentage, that'd be good enough. Like that would be great. We would take that. So it's just, I don't know, maybe show a little more patience, like drop some drag bunts or something to like keep the defense honest. I don't really. That's tough because I haven't really analyzed his swing too much to know what's wrong with it. But
like I said, to me, he just looks stiff and like. But he's a Dylan Carlson just clone where he doesn't even hit the ball hard right now. That's why I just mentioned maybe just get a little more athletic in the box. I'm not a professional hitting coach by any means, but that's just the only thing I could maybe see. But he just doesn't look comfortable up there. I think that he only hit a few balls that were considered hard hit or barrels whenever he's in the majors. He's just not really smoking the ball. I think I saw him smoke one of those home runs that he hit down in AAA. But beyond that, he's just a lot of loops. And even when he's in St. Louis, just a lot of players loops off into the bat. So he's not really making good contact. And his on base is at 287. So he's not really drawing many walks either. I think he's only got 16 walks on the year in AAA. So
Yeah,
You just
anything under 300 is pretty bad. So like,
100%. So you
yeah.
just like to see some get his confidence back up.
Someone that I want to talk about, I guess, who also had a really rough start recently is Sam Robersa, who I was clamoring for the Cardinals to call up and get that heralded fifth starter spot. But we decided to go back and forth between Libby and now Palante. Cardinals still don't really seem sure what they're doing with that. 5-4, 4.45 ERA, 65 Ks and 66 innings. So he's like right at a 9 Ks per nine right now. 20 walks. You would like to see that go down a little bit, but that's not terrible, I guess, for AAA. I realized a lot on the fastball slider combo. The slider's pretty good. The fastball touches like 93 to 95. What really like jumped his ERA up though is he gave up 7 earned runs in his last start and a third of an inning. So it went up almost a whole point. Prior to that, he was at 3.53 and now he's at 4.45. So like, but this is a guy that like for the majority of the season down there was dominant. He's just kind of had 2 blow up starts in a row. I think he could still be a serviceable back end major league arm, but I don't. That's another one of those guys that's like I don't know what the Cardinals were doing with him because he had the opportunity to start in the majors and they wouldn't give it to him. So I'm not really sure what the plan is with him.
Right. And that's exactly whenever he starts struggling too as well. You gotta wonder if maybe he was expecting or hoping for it. But obviously you can't let that stuff kind of get in the way of your play. But at that point, you kind of just hope maybe it's a confidence thing or hopefully it's a mechanics thing. I don't want to say confidence more than just mechanics. It's usually once if you're dominating, and then you're just not anymore. It's probably something mechanical. So let's just hope he kind of figures that out pretty soon. But the last person I want to talk about is Andre Granillo. So he got brought up, and he's been almost better in AAA than he was in AA. He's a great multi-inning reliever. He's got, like I was talking about it before, I think we at Kyle, he got that great like split changeup as well. He goes up to 98. He doesn't really walk anybody either, which is really, really good as well. But yeah, he had 1.47 ERA when he's in AA and 18 innings, and now 1.17 in AAA. He's the perfect guy to have as a late inning reliever. If you could have a dude you can trust to pitch the 7th or 8th inning, and you can pitch 2 innings solidly. I mean, the majority of his outings, he's pitching 2 innings, 1 inning, 2 innings, 2 innings, 1.2. He's constantly going deep into the second or third inning, so or first deep into the second inning rather than the third. But I think he'll be really, really fun. The stuff plays, and he has really good control with his stuff as well, especially his off speed. Actually, I saw more problems with his fastball control than I saw with his changeup control.
Yeah, and that's someone that like, I'm glad you brought him up also because I don't want to call the current major league bullpen in flux, but we've seen cracks lately, specifically at Kittredge. Sorry, I just had a brain fart. Who's been struggling a little bit lately. So like, I wouldn't expect him to be called up and immediately given like a late high inning leverage role, especially like super early on. But like he's someone that you could see probably like as a September call up at the very worst, and kind of like try him out just to kind of see what you have. Keenan Middleton's going to be gone for the year. Riley O'Brien's currently on the IL too. So like, why not, right? So like, bullpen arms are always needed too, especially like during that late playoff push.
Right. One more guy is Gordon Graceffo. I mean, you kind of wonder if he's ever just going to push through or if we're just going to give him kind of a shot just to see.
Or trade
I think
because like he's just like Roberto. What are we doing with this guy?
yeah, and he's really kind of been in this spot, it seems like, for about a year where we've kind of been, is he going to get called up? Is he going to get called up? And he kind of just does this constant up and down. We'll have a start or two where you're just like, wow. Like, he does have some really good stuff. And I do kind of like his motion where it is kind of quick and it's awkward. And that little stuff like that does throw off the hitters a lot. But he just isn't very consistent at all. I mean, they'll have a really, really good start, and they'll follow it up with 2 more bad ones. So,
yeah, but this is another one of those guys where the Cardinals just kind of have to see what they have and give them an opportunity at some point. Because this whole like back and forth between Libby and Palante thing was driving me nuts, honestly. And Trevor knows better than anyone. I would rant about it every week. Like, what are we doing here? Like, we got these guys down in the minors who are ready to start, or at least give them a chance. Just kind of see what you have in them. Because, like as you mentioned, Graceffo was already 24. Like, how long are we going to wait on him? He's in AAA, and like, yeah, he has good starts and he has bad starts, but I don't think anything is going to change for him in AAA from where he is now to the end of the season. So,
I will say he's I don't like to do the move the guy to the bullpen game, but he does have a really good slider. He does have a really good fastball, and he does profile as a guy that I would want to use in the seventh or eighth inning if with just those two pitches alone, the stuff.
Maybe if we had like a bunch of younger, I don't want to disagree with you, but I kind of like the discourse. But maybe we had a bunch of other younger high end guys in front of him, that would make sense. But then
Right.
like what we've done in the past is we'll then shoehorn that guy into a bullpen piece. Like we did it with Rosenthal in the past. We did it with Reyes. We did it with Hicks just recently, who is now thriving as a starter. So like I don't want to do that because then once they bring a guy up and they put him in the bullpen, it feels like they're just stuck there forever now and they'll never come out. Because as soon as they come out and they struggle a little bit, they get put right back in. And I don't know. That's just how I feel about it. So
Absolutely. I'd like to see him get a shot in the majors before we do that. But once you, like you said, once you start getting to 24, 25, 26, do something to be able to get up there and kind of make an impact. And if it's taking you 8 years to get to the majors, you should probably try some. I know he's a 4-year college guy as well, but I just would like to see what it looks like. But
yeah, he's a prospect in his mid-20s. So like, come on, like you got to see what you have in him eventually, right? So like, let's see it.
exactly, he's one of those guys you just I don't understand why he hasn't got one of those spot starts that we've had over the last couple of weeks, almost more than reverse A. Like it's been like a year, I think, of him just being ready and pretty much being the same guy in AAA. Like not getting any better, any worse. He's
Yeah, I
pretty much
was
been the
just
same
banging the
guy.
Robertse drum though because at the time Roberse was the better pitcher in AAA and he looked more major league like looked, but he was performing better, I guess, in AAA. So I felt like he deserved it more, if you can quote. But yeah, both those guys, and I know Trevor and I specifically have talked about this quite a bit. I kind of lose my mind over this stuff. I don't know. Them two and Cooper Herpy thing are like my biggest pet peeves right now in the organization. So I don't know. I guess that's a good thing to talk about though, because like last year we were talking about all the hitters that we had in the minors between like Walker and Scott and Sajasi, and then Prado we didn't even know about yet. And this year it's kind of like done 180. We're like, we'd rather talk about the pitchers because the hitters are right now, which is funny.
Which is exciting because the core of our hitters are all just absolutely killing it now. Burley's absolutely just slugging it. Gorman's been over the last about almost month now, it seems like, has been just crushing balls.
Yep.
Mason Wynn is a legitimate rookie of the year candidate as well. Herrera's been swinging it. So we have a really good young core of guys. That's not mentioning Newt or Donnie or any of the other dudes that are really the only guy that's really disappointed, I think, of our core has been Jordan Walker. And that sucks a lot. But yeah, I'm excited for this young wave pitchers. Hopefully one of these 2 or 3 guys we think could be studs between Quinn Matthews, Herbie, and Hintz can just be at least a solid number 2 for us,
Yeah, and like I said, I really liked Saladin. I think that's a guy that's going to fly up the rankings too, because he was someone that was signed at 16 because of the raw talent and the high potential he had. Usually when you sign guys at 16, you see something there. So, and same for Cooper Herpy, if we ever let him pitch beyond 65 pitches in a game. So we'll see. I don't have any other guys I want to talk about today, though. Is there anyone else on the docket for you?
No, not that I can see at all. That we were mentioning.
Perfect. I mean, so I guess that wraps it up pretty much for the prospects for the night. Some awesome news. If you didn't see the rundown, we officially hit that 100 subscribers earlier today. So we are going to be raffling off that mystery bag this week. Just a quick note, and we will be doing a quick short about this too. Some of our subscribers are listed as private, totally fine, but it does make us unable to see your subscription and have you entered. So please make sure if you have your subscription as private, that you at least comment one of our videos. We're going to be going through all the videos as well as our subscriber list, making sure we have as many names in there as possible. And then we are going to end up doing a live recorded draft ultimately to name out that winner. So be on the lookout for that. And again, make sure to at least comment so we have you on that list. We also have a community mailbag episode we're going to be shooting this week, as well as the recap from the unfortunate split against the Rockies. We have a lot of thoughts on that that we'll be getting to you as well. RJ already knows what I'm talking about. So
Gosh.
We will see you all later this week. Thanks again for joining us for another prospect episode. Let us know if there's any guys you'd like to know more about so we can make sure to get you some information, some videos on them. Anything you guys want to touch on for this upcoming week outside of the huge NL Central Series showdowns we have this week?
Not particularly, no. You already mentioned the mailbag, so I don't know. Maybe it'd be a good idea to do the mailbag and the reveal of the winner at the same. I don't know, but yeah, no, this was fun. I appreciate you hopping on, Zach. I know you can't hop on all the time. You're a busier guy than Trevor and I, with the newborn and all. So
Right, absolutely. All I say is let's give Paul Skeens his first blow up start. If you're up in St. Louis,
yes, yes.
this bet I don't want to hold my breath, but I'll be honest with you guys. I'm kind of excited for it in a way to see him. I watched his last start with when Otani took him deep, but dude absolutely blew past Otani. So it'll be fun to watch us hopefully crush him.
It's always fun to watch how quickly this league adjusts to superstars, though. They get taped quick on these guys
Right.
when it's
Yeah, it's hard to tape a 102-mile-an-hour sinker.
It was never the ace guys that are our issues. It's always the bottom of the barrel, like fringe major league guys with a 6 ERA we can't hit. So
Right, absolutely.
you hit Skeens.
Perfect. So that'll do it for tonight's episode of Birds on a Blue Note. Thank you again, all of you guys, for joining us. Zach, RJ, pleasure as always getting your guys' insight. Zach, we'll be getting some special stuff. Be on the lookout too. We're going to be having him do some special stuff out in Springfield later on this season. A few other giveaways, including some raffles as well. But yeah. Hope you all have a great rest of the night, a good week, and we will see you all later. Take care. Have a good one.